All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the truth hour with General Cyrus Seti. Kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to not only the Cyrus Seti YouTube page, but the General Seti YouTube page. Two dynamic powerhouse institutions on YouTube. Giving you nothing but Black Power, Black Divinity. I want you to subscribe immediately. I want you to become a member. The link for the membership right down in the video description. It's in the chat. All you had to do is just click it. You get a video introduction, rundown on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarasun Seti General Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. The General got a new website up on Teachable, uploading a lot of dynamic curriculums, powerhouse programs, certificate courses. First one up, 25 Steps to the Redemption of Definitive Black Manhood, designed by the General, strictly for the brothers. It's an amazing course. Get a preview. Also included the Brotherhood of Heru Roundtable live stream where the brothers meet once a week discussing very important, powerful, vital information pertinent to our growth and development. Get on over there, family. Check out the course and become a brother, become a member today. That's right. Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarasun Seti, DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. I got something for you, family. I know you're going to like and love. Get on over there. Check out that catalog. Get you something nice. Shop and save and shop. Pull the fire alarm, GeneralSeti.com, Seti University. Over 2,500 videos, 40 different subjects. All the subjects that you know and love from the General. There's not another website nowhere on the planet that could compare or compete. You should become a member today. And everybody know the General popping on Patreon. We got that fire coming up. We got, matter of fact, let me get it in here. Boom, boom. All right, hold on. Here we go. Let's get it on here. We got the Emerald tablets. That's right. We got that one. DNA code of the dragon bloodline. This is going to be powerful. I know niggas done told you that they found some tablets up under the ocean. Just not true. They don't know what they talking about. We're going to clear it up for you, family. Just come on in. Also, where we at? Bingo. Here we go. Right here. Bingo. Let me get it in here. The magical ring of black immortality. We're going to be dealing with this power of our, this ring that you see in ancient Egyptian Medunetta that controls the universe. It's called the Shin ring, or the cartouche is also a ring of divinity. And those who are inside of that ring is blessed with immortality. I want you to get on Patreon and get that work. We're going to be dropping it. Click the link at the top. To all the family donated to the General, thank you. Those would like to donate, link right there in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sarasun Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will bang your ass. Now, let's get into this. See, we keep, I got to deal with this now. As we talk about this book of Enoch. And see, a lot of people, because maybe they want to be with the Neanderthal. It's clearly, of the Neanderthal, the fingerprints, the abominations, and all this there. Because we don't have no netters that's going to create no abominations like what you read in the book of Enoch. See, when they get to talking about abominations and they get to bringing up in this book of Enoch, it talks about not only the Nephilim, which is really the Africans. You see, but they won't away because, when they speak about the giants, and yes, it is speaking of divinity, but see, they got a way in which they spin it, to make it look like that these Nephilim was somehow some goddamn, some abomination, but there's something clearly in this book that is very troubling. It speaks to Greek mythology. It speaks to what is going on in the scientific world today. It has all the hallmark fingerprints of the Neanderthal, because it speaks that these Anunnaki, these watchers, you see what they call the watchers, these angels, also, created monsters. You see, where they took man and mixed man with animals. I mean, that's what it say. That's what it say. We gonna look into it deeper. You see, that's what it's saying. And so, yeah. All the well, some of that is before Darwinism. The Book of Enoch is older than Darwinism. And Darwinism might have, well, you saying that maybe Darwin took it and got in it, and maybe he manifested. And I understand what you're saying now, but maybe that's where Darwin got some of his sick manifestations from. Maybe that's exactly where he went to get it. You feel what I'm saying? And so, and these are supposed to be watchers. These are supposed to be angels now. This ain't no any goddamn body. What manifestation? And they supposed to be created by God. You see, they supposed to be literally pure. You understand what I'm saying? But that's just not the case. That's just not the case, because I mean, some of the closest things to God seem to be turning on God. So God, but see, that's why we got to look at this deeper, that this is esoterical, and these is functions and shit, and cosmic laws, but this bestiality shit, you feel what I'm saying, where they are creating beasts, is very troubling. It's very troubling, because we got to cut this, getting out of all this Enoch shit. That Enoch, some God took motherfucking man up into space and shit, and this, that. We got to stop this. You feel me? This is all a means to mystify man, and motherfucker, do it again. Okay, that's all, and do it in front of the world. If you can't do it again and you can't do it in front of the world, then goddamn, what is the likelihood that it happened the first time? I'm sick of this shit. Well, motherfucker do it one time, then we say duplicate that once more. Then it can't be due. He the only motherfucker that ever walked the planet. Elijah was taken up, and Melchizedek, I believe, was taken up. Enoch, Melchizedek, just without doubt, he didn't have a mother, didn't have a father. You understand what I'm saying? He was eternal. So you understand that a lot of this is esoterical, codified language, and we got to get to the deeper root of this. You see, that's why you niggas need to leave these damn, leave all these outsiders, to themselves, because all you doing is leaking imperfections into your blood. That's all you're doing. All you're doing is breeding imperfections, abnormalities, abominations into your blood. That's all you doing, and you a fool. You a fool, because you don't want to heed the truth. Let's listen to this, man. Now, I'm going to tell you something about Silly Billy Carter.
You know that Enoch was a real powerful man because he's talked about in the Bible, yet his book is not in the Bible. Powerful book. You know that Enoch was a real powerful man because he's talked about in the Bible, yet his book is not in the Bible.
Now, that's great. See, he's such a powerful man. This nigga might as well put the cloth on and get on and put that little thing, the little priest in Catholic Church, put that little white little thing around his neck and go on in there and preach. See, this nigga teaching you like Enoch is some goddamn some real character. You see, he's speaking to you. That's religion. Don't give a fuck how you could play musical chairs all you want to. You can play musical chairs all you want to. Okay, there ain't been no goddamn Enoch. And if you believe a man just flew up into the sky, you understand what I'm saying? Just flew up and then say a chariot made out of fire came down and picked Elijah up. You know, he got him a Uber. You see, he got him a Uber from heaven, and it was fire on the wheels and shit and all of that. And the heavenly Uber came down, swooped him up, and took him off to heaven. You see, nigga, you might as well go and get your Dr. Zeus books out, nigga. You might as well go on and you might as well go on and worship. You might as well make SpongeBob a goddamn prophet. You see, yeah. And what's the other motherfucker to be on? What's his motherfucking name? Be on goddamn Squidward. You understand? Make Squidward a disciple. Make goddamn SpongeBob. Make SpongeBob a prophet or something. That's what you're doing, nigga. So he got you fairy telling. You understand what I'm saying? Got you fairy telling. And y'all don't understand these. You got to see, but you know what? It show you how feeble his mind is. Because we know. We the primordial. This is what we do to keep frail minds from accessing our sacred knowledge. You see? And when we get niggas like this to come up here and tell you about that, we laugh because we know that this nigga is truly, you understand, on his level. He think he up here, but water seeps his own level. You see? And so, you know, he's in bliss of ignorance. Ignorance, they say ignorance is bliss, and he's in bliss of ignorance. Listen to this shit.
It was left out by accident on purpose. And the reason why is because he's talking about, and he calls these beings by their names, beings that were not from Earth, that came here from up above and engaged mankind. They taught us how to build weapons. Okay. They taught us about perfume and makeup. They taught us how to make jewelry and beer and all this other crazy stuff, right? So these beings were physical, corporeal beings.
You don't need no motherfucker to help you. I mean, of all the shit, beer, you need a motherfucking Anunnaki to teach you how to make beer. The Egyptians invented beer. All you need is wheat, motherfucker. That's all you need is wheat to make beer, but you need a goddamn alien to come down here. Man, the more I listen to Billy Carson, the more frail. He's frail, man. I mean, goddamn. He's really frail, man. Mentally, he's frail. Yeah, you need a motherfucker. I mean, goddamn, we got to have a motherfucker ET come from a whole nother galaxy to teach a nigga how to make beer. Man, if y'all, black people making all type of potions and herbal, you understand, you know, fermenting all type of herbal medicines and beer, and that's just the least of what we created. You understand what I'm saying? He act like a motherfucker can't invent nothing without an alien. This man is crippled, man. This man is an agent. I know he got to know better than that. But he making that dollar on that spookism. You niggas love spookism. Listen to this nigga.
The Book of Enoch, powerful book. You know that Enoch was a real powerful man because he's talked about in the Bible, yet his book is not in the Bible. It was left out by accident on purpose. And the reason why is because he's talking about, and he calls these beings by their names, beings that were not from Earth, that came here from up above and engaged mankind. They taught us how to build weapons. They taught us about perfume and makeup. They taught us how to make jewelry and beer and all this other crazy stuff, right? So these beings were physical, corporeal beings.
Taught us how to make weapons. So we could shoot ourselves. Yeah. So we can kill ourselves and shit. Yeah. What a wonderful alien. You see? Yeah, you know, motherfucker so benevolent that he gonna bring weapon. Ain't no weapon here, motherfucker. then that show you something. They not violent. We don't need violence. Say this motherfucker, this motherfucker taught us how to motherfucking invent weapons and shit. Okay. Let's do
that fallen angels created. Today, that's what we'll be covering in the Book of Enoch. Explained a group of mysterious creatures that fallen angels created. Today, that's what we'll be covering in the Book of Enoch. You see, the Nephilim giants are not the only hybrid beings that were created. There were also mysterious crossbreeds between animals and humans. Let me explain. The Book of Enoch mentions how the 200 Watchers experimented on humans and animals to create monstrous hybrid beings.
This shit crazy right here. Yeah, and listen, they saying that the Watchers, the 200 Watchers, supposed to be angels of God. Yeah, they supposed to be of God, and they down here taking motherfuckers and they fucking making monsters and shit. They mixing man and shit with all type of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they saying. But but this is what they doing in the laboratory right now. So you got to understand, motherfuckers don't know. They'll backdate some books. Motherfucker talking about it wasn't never in the Bible and shit. You don't know where the fuck that book come from. When they know there's some loopholes in the Bible and they mention a motherfucker name, I ain't never seen one name of a motherfucker mention where they didn't come and try to write a book about and say, oh, the book of Melchizedek. Motherfucker ain't never seen no book of Melchizedek. But then somehow a book of Melchizedek just pop up. Then the book of the holy book of the angel Gabriel and in any of that shit. That's how they keep the shit going on and on and on and on. Let me tell you something. If it don't come out the Nile Valley, it's bullshit. Now, whether I heard people say, "Oh, well, there's bits and pieces." I don't believe. You know what bits and pieces? What? But because the thing is, what people is trying to confuse motherfuckers is this. They say that when the Medunetter was being banned, I heard teachers say this. I even heard Bobby Hemmett say this, that they took it and they put it in other languages to preserve the culture, to preserve the history. But when they say this, they always look to the north where the Caucasians is. Say, well, they put some in the Gnosticism, they put some in, but why don't they say, wouldn't it be logical if they was trying to hide their knowledge and the Medunetter was banned, that they would turn, go south, go west, where African peoples is, and put it in ancient African traditions? Why would they go and and use European languages and culture to hide something? Because that's who you hiding it from. You feel me? The majority of your people don't speak Greek. Okay, they don't speak Greek today. They never did. So why would they put it in Gnosticism and all of that, which is Greco-Roman? Why would they do that? So we don't understand that some of these traditions, bits and pieces, not the whole, because you ain't gonna get the whole. The Dogon, they got some of it. Okay, I know they got some of it. And many of them traditions that's South, but you dealing, the South has been infiltrated too now as of 2025. So you got to be, you got to know who you dealing with, even when you go South. So I don't, when I get to looking at that Gnosticism and all that, you can see, like I say, you got literary fingerprints. I've been studying so long, and you get a lot of Greco-Roman, that's sickology. I ain't talking about the primordial Titan. You understand that early Trojan, Etruscan, Carthaginian, that Mediterranean, when the Africans, the Phoenician, the Trojan, the Etruscan, you feel me? The Minoan, and that's African. You see what I'm saying? So and I'm not talking about that, but when you start getting it where you having them stories where you got humans, a lot of humans in that Greek psychology, when the pale man came, it's a lot of interaction with animals. And I ain't talking about on no esoterical level. I'm talking about on the real. You understand what I'm saying? Where they and creating like the Minotaur and all of this shit, half man, half bull, and all these monstrosities and shit. You feel what I'm saying? I said, oh, so when you look at that Enoch and that these watchers and shit is creating and shit, these you understand, these monsters, these abominations, it rings a lot like Greek psychology. You know, and then knowing what I know it come out of the same cauldron. You feel what I'm saying? So don't let them fool you that this book of Eden, I don't give a fuck if they found it in goddamn Ethiopia or not. I don't give a goddamn. That ain't the sacred letters, okay? You ain't gonna find nothing like that in the sacred letters. They teaching divinity up on the walls. I ain't never seen none where they was doing some shit like that. None but divinity. You see what I'm saying? That's how they lasted for so long. Ain't no way you gonna last 3,000 years bullshit. You ain't gonna last no goddamn. Watch every civilization. When they bullshit, you fall quickly. You see what I'm saying? You gonna disintegrate from within, and it's gonna be swiftly. You ain't gonna last no 3,000 years with no fucking up and making obvious what you call what is it called? But it'll come to me. You see, when you know you're doing some crazy shit, abomination. You practicing culture of abomination, doing shit, man on man, woman on woman. That's with the animals. You're doing crazy shit. You feel what I'm saying? You got to know that. You got to know that. And so I don't fuck with all that other, that off-brand shit. That's all brand. And people want to say Enoch the book. That's some garbage. That's some goddamn garbage. People talking about the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch is some bullshit. The only thing it's telling you, all it did was update Greek mythology. That's all it is. The Watchers ain't, they trying to spin it because of Prometheus and say they gave you something. That's Prometheus. You understand what I'm saying? Who was a titan who gave man fire, you see, and gave him some knowledge, and Zeus didn't want them to have that knowledge. And when Prometheus gave the humans that knowledge, and Zeus found and gave the people the fire and shit and this, that, and the third, he nailed his ass to some goddamn mountain in Tartarus. You see what I'm saying? For eternity. But Hercules ended up going down there and freeing him. But he was a titan. You feel what I'm saying? These was the ones that ruled before the gods. These was the giants that ruled before the gods. Those are the Ethiopians. That's the esoterical understanding of that. Okay, that's the esoterical understanding of that. When you think about Adam, when you talk about Eve and shit, supposedly in the Bible brought all the ills of the world by eating it, and eating the apple and giving the apple to Adam. You go into Greek mythology, it was Pandora, the same, a woman opened up the eel, just like Eve opened up the eels of the world. Pandora opened up the eels of the world. You see what I'm saying? And it was also it was another one where the fruit was connected to, and I believe that was what was her name? She was the daughter of that goddess Demeter, and she was like a fertility god. And Hades had kidnapped her and took her to Hades, and she was her mother Demeter was an agricultural goddess, and she wept and wept, and she wouldn't let the crops grow or nothing. And so Zeus had to go down there and tell Hades to let, to free the girl. He made a deal that he would let her come up for like 6 months out the year, which is the months of spring and summer. But the fall and winter, she had to spend it down in Hades. But she was, I think, what was her name? Persephone. I think it was Persephone or something. And I think it was what was that was sacred to her? Damn, it's a fruit that was sacred to her. God damn it, I'm gonna look that motherfucker up right now. I need to know that. Somebody gonna put it in there. Yeah, pomegranate. Yeah, it was pomegranate. That's exactly what it was, pomegranate. So you know what I'm saying? So once you read enough, you will start saying, oh, okay, I see what y'all doing. All y'all doing is updating a lot of that Greco-Roman shit. You see what I'm saying? That's all y'all doing is updating a lot of that Greco-Roman shit. That book of Enoch, people want to think, man, listen, that book probably come out of the goddamn 16th century some damn time. You know what I'm saying? That book probably come out of the 16th goddamn century when they goddamn got the printing press. A lot of that shit was in, because they didn't have no books. They didn't have no motherfucking books, man. Y'all keep talking this crazy shit. They did not have no books. Back then, if a motherfucker was a scribe, they had to scribe a book. But they didn't have, the whole European populace was totally illiterate, even up into damn near the 1800s. When they got the printing press, they couldn't even print up the books because the populace was ignorant. So they had to teach the goddamn European population even how to write, even how to, what the alphabet was before they could fucking even print up books. So, I mean, you writing books for who? Who the fuck are they writing books for? Most of the scribes went to just like they do today, they probably went into Phoenicia and areas like that and learned how to write. You see what I'm saying? But that was rich motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Majority of them was rich. You feel me? So that's why you ain't gonna find, only in Egypt, and I'm about to get out of this. Only in Egypt did you have mass education. Egypt is the first modern civilization where the majority of the populace went to school, was literate. That's why you find millions of scrolls. Even though they didn't have a printing press, they had millions of scribes, because they had millions of scribes, and they had Masonic scribes. Those was the ones that cut into the temples. Now, if you go over Egypt and you see tens of thousands of temples with writing carved off, they had to have hundreds of thousands to millions of just Masonic scribes. You feel what I'm saying? They had to have millions of Masonic scribes just cutting into the stone. Then you got millions of literary or papyrus scribes. You see what I'm saying? Because they didn't find millions of papyruses. So no other culture in the world where you find mass production of literature in the ancient world other than Egypt. And the evidence is still here today. Okay? So these other groups did not have mass literation. They did not have mass literation. They did not have institutions where, they had to go to school because they didn't have, number one, like Walter Williams said, they did not have an alphabet. They had not mastered the production of paper, ink, none of that. They hadn't, because where it's at? Where it's at? Don't want to talk about it. I don't want to say fuck that. Everything that happened to y'all happened to us. So if motherfucker came in, they burnt some shit, but then goddamn, our shit was so sacred. They like, fuck it, we not burning this, we keeping this. So we got millions of scrolls. So I know when some shit is fake. Cause motherfucker would come up and tell you, oh man, this book was written in 200 BC. You know what I ask them? Was it mass produced? I don't let no motherfucker show up with no one book, man. Never. I ask them, was it mass produced? You understand? Because if I know if it was mass produced, it had, it would have been spoken about by thousands and thousands of people. It would be a recollection. It wouldn't be hard to get 10 and 20 and 30 witnesses about a subject. You see what I'm saying? You understand why you only got one record on Jesus? Huh? Why you only got one record on Jesus? You understand why? You supposed to have thousands of recollections on if you literate, and they passing this literature around during the time. We need evidence from that period. And you don't have it. You know why? Because it did not exist. When they got that printing press, they post-dated all that shit. They was writing that shit in the 15 and the 1600s, and they post-dated that shit back to 100 BC and shit like that, and niggas fall for that shit today. They ain't doing nothing but Greco-Roman rehash, and a lot of that Greco-Roman shit is fake. Nah, I'm gonna get out of here, and I dare motherfucker to go behind me, right? Now, I like what Herodotus is saying. Herodotus, the European Greek father, he said some shit that back up what the fuck we saying. He say that the Egyptians came out of the South. He's saying that they were black and woolly hair and all of that. And so I say, well, you know what? Let me go and see the oldest Herodotus. Herodotus supposedly lived in 400 BC. And so he wrote this work called the Histories. I think it was about 4-5 volumes where he went to Egypt, then he went over into Mesopotamia, he went to India and shit, and he wrote what he saw in 400 BC. And so I say, you know what? Let me go see what the oldest work of Herodotus is. And it was something like 700, 800 AD. So he lived 400 BC, just like Moses. He supposedly lived 100 and 1200 BC, but the oldest literature on the Old Testament is the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is 200 AD. So 1,000 years in between Moses and the earliest Hebrew documentation. You got a millennium in between Moses and the Dead Sea Scroll, and many of them been found out to be fake. So now you got Herodotus around 400 BC, and the earliest work of Herodotus is around 700 and 800 AD, and the critical thing here is they fragments. They're fragments, meaning it's a page or two, and it's torn and shit. And so, I researched my ass off. I ain't gonna lie. I'm thinking to myself, well, damn. If the oldest work of Herodotus is 800 AD, and it's fragments, where the fuck did they get the rest of the book from? Man, listen to me. You can't make this shit up. They a fragment of a page. The motherfucker was, and they say this is the oldest work of Herodotus. And I'm thinking to myself, in the oldest complete Herodotus, I can't make this shit up, is 1400 AD, right around when they created the motherfucking printing press, is where you find the complete Herodotus. I say, man, I'm done with this shit, man. Walter Williams hurt motherfuckers, man. He damaged them motherfuckers when he put that information out there. He hurt them motherfuckers, and they can't recover from that. And I took it and I continued to do research on it. And the more I went in, all of this shit been fabricated in the 14, 15, 16, 1600. Primarily 16, 15, 16, 1700s. They fabricated most of this shit you see out here today. Most of it. Period. I'm out of here, family. Get on over there to Patreon. Keep fucking with the general. I'm telling you, if you want to elevate, you better come on in. I know it's going to hurt because you're going to be like, man, all my books that I love and I really love them, man. And I can't give them up. But goddamn it, sometimes you got to jump through the motherfucking portal. You had to jump. You had to jump. You can't stay in the box. You see? Because you don't know when that shit gonna close up. You feel me? So when that portal is like them motherfuckers when they trying to get home and they say, God damn it, in the movie, and they say that portal gonna be there at such and such, and they racing to get to that motherfucking portal. And when that motherfucker, it be damn near about to close up, and they jump through that motherfucker. You better get through. You better get through. You better get through. No matter what you believe, if it's real and you get back this way, it'll still be here. You ain't leaving nothing. If it's real, it'll still be here. All right, family, get on over there to Patreon. Click that link. We be right back. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Leave that book of Enoch alone, goddamn it. Arm yourself with knowledge. Leave that shit alone like Enoch and Billy Carson, Silly Billy. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.